Well, hello there again. I'm Jan from JB Crafts, and I'm back today with my second tutorial for my new YouTube channel. So welcome. And just before I get started, I must say a massive, massive thank you. You guys have been absolutely amazing. I launched this channel on Saturday at the weekend, and it's just gone absolutely berserk. So yes, thank you from me, from the bottom of my heart, for the support, and I'm looking forward to bringing you new videos at least weekly, sometimes a little bit more frequently. So today I've just gone for a little bit more simple design, and we're going to make a Sweet 16 birthday card using a selection of inks to make the rainbow background here. And as always, I've used some of the little offcut pieces just to decorate the inside, and totally optional, but it's just something that I prefer to do. It uses up some of the scraps. So this is where we're heading today. It's a 5 by 7 inch, a basic style card. I haven't actually done the envelope for it today, but I will do. I will sort of add some extra pieces to the envelope just to link it to the card. So we're actually going to be using my Distress Oxide inks for this one today. So I'll pop the card just to one side for a second, and I'm going to bring in a selection of colours that I've chosen to create my rainbow of colours on that spectrum. So you can see there we've actually got 7 different shades. For any of you that use the Distress Oxide inks, I've chosen Kitsch Flamingo, Spiced Marmalade, Fossilized Amber, Peeled Paint, Salvage Patina, Faded Jeans, and Wilted Violet. So that's my spectrum of colours. I went with the pink rather than the red. I had to put the pink in there. So yeah, it's just a slight Jan twist on the rainbow. So we're actually going to be using all 7 of those. I'll put those to the top there, and I'm just going to bring in my blending mat just to try and keep it a little bit more tidy to work on. I've also got my blending brushes, which is my choice of brush for using my Distress Oxides, and these are the ones that I keep purely for that particular ink. So what I've done is I've taken a piece of smooth white cardstock, and I'm just going to work on this to create the strips for the card. So this actually measures 7 inch by 4 1/4, which is not really relevant because we're going to chop this up in a second or two. And what I've done is I've just marked it at every inch down this edge to give me a guide. I want to create a strip of colour around about 1 inch wide down the actual piece of card. So I'm going to start off with my pink, and we're just going to load up that little brush and apply that ink straight to my smooth cardstock, and this is going to create the strips for me to make that rainbow effect pattern there. So a nice good sort of coating of ink, and then we're going to move on to the next colour with the next brush. So the next one is the Spiced Marmalade, and again I'm just going to do exactly the same here and applying that ink using that little marker as a guideline. So when you're joining the 2 colours, I always come across that bottom edge first. Now the orange is a very strong colour, so I'm going to go very lightly up towards the pink, and if they don't quite match, join together. I'm not too fussed because I'm going to cut these down into little strips. So I'm just going to bring that pink one back in and just pop over the top there with the pink, and then just carry on working my way through the colours. So we've got the yellow one now, which is the Fossilized Amber. Again, same process. So all of you that love those inky backgrounds, this one's perfect for you guys. You can use any ink. My ink of choice today was the Distress ink, but if you've got other types of ink, other brands of ink, you can be using those. So again, just nudging it up to that one before. I'm not too worried about a blend because I'm going to cut these down. So that's my yellow in place. Then we're going to go for the green, which is Peeled Paint. And again, I'm just going to do exactly the same across that, around about where that marker is for the inch. just so that these are all a similar width, and then I've allowed a little bit of extra because the strips on my card are only actually a 3/4 of an inch wide, so I've got plenty of space, and that's why I'm not too worried about the colours blending between the two layers. So that's my green, and then I'm going to bring in a nice turquoise shade in between these, and this one's salvaged patina. And again, we're going to carry on in that same fashion and just bring the whole thing and then join it up. As I say, if I was doing this as a background, I would spend more time blending between the colours, but this is literally all I need for this particular technique. So then into the darker shade of blue, this one is Faded Jeans. And again, I'm going to bring that one down, that marker. Again, it's a lot darker colour, so I'm going to be very gentle when I get towards the turquoise, not to create too much overlap there. Just make sure I've got a nice coating of colour, and then my last colour, I'm just going to flip this round a little bit. We'll just clean off a bit of the ink there so that I'm not going to be picking up different colours, and flip it round, and my last colour is going to be the purple one, and that purple one is Wilted Violet. So again, last one there. I'm just going to grab a little bit of paper just to hold here so that I don't lift the ink with my fingers. And again, just fill that last section with that gorgeous purple ink. And then these are ready for me to trim down now. So you can see there we've got a nice solid coating with these, and these dry much paler. Once the ink is totally dry, it will dry paler than what you see on that detail now. So we'll just move those inks out of the way and take away my sheet. We don't need that anymore, and you can see now that we've got that lovely rainbow palette of colours going on. Now, I did actually prepare some of this earlier just to save a little bit of time, but all I've done is taken my guillotine, and I allowed an inch in here so that I'd got room to cut it down, because I just actually wanted 3/4 inch strips. So you can see now where I've not got the join in between, I've just got that lovely element of colour in all 7 of my rainbow shades there. So I'm going to leave this one to dry, and I'll be able to use that for something else. And then I'm going to bring in the layers for my actual card. So let's just pop those slightly further over. So I said it was a basic 7x5 card here. Just if I've cut this myself, I've cut a piece of 10x5 and scored it down the centre, and that's my basic card blank. I've also cut a matte layer in black that measures 6.5 by 4.5 inches, and then my top layer that I'm going to be working on with these coloured strips is just 1/8 of an inch. I wanted a very, very narrow black border. I wanted the colour to be the main focal point on this particular design. So this one is 6 3/8 by 4 3/8. So I'm just going to pop these pieces to one side and work on this one. I've just marked roughly where the centre is of this height here so that I can sort of position my pieces, and I've popped some tape on the back of these ready to put them down. So the first one is actually going to go level with the top of my card, and I'm going to use the whole strip on this one. So I'm literally just going to line this up with that top edge of my card in the corner here, and take this particular strip all the way across the top of the card. Okay, then I'm going to do the same at the bottom with the purple one, and I'm working at, well, no, I'm not actually, I'm going to carry on all the way down just for positioning, because I'm not quite sure where I want the purple one to come in. If I show you the original sample, they are slightly graded all the way down, so if I position this one and it's not right, I'm going to have to start again. So yeah, we'll actually go in rainbow order. So the next one will be the orange. Again, take the backing sheet off, and then I'm just going to use my, I'm going to come in probably about 1/4 of an inch, and I've got roughly about 1/4 of an inch gap in between. Now, if you're not sure whether you're working straight, just use something that you know is straight to give you, you know, the right angle there to get it. And then I'm just going to nudge it that way slightly, just to make sure that I've got that gap in between there. So I'm happy with that positioning, and then that one can stick down. And then I'm going to work all the way down. And I just put the little mark in at the centre for my original positioning, because I knew that the green one was going to be the middle of my rainbow, and therefore that needed to land roughly about a centre of the card. So same gap, about the same distance in, and then I can just run these parallel with the colour above it now. So again, the green one, like I said, should land roughly in the middle. So again, I'm going to leave that same gap. I'm going to come in just a fraction so that you've got this gradient moving into the card. And then I'm going to do the same again with those last few colours. So again, I've got that lovely turquoise. So just popping it in slightly from where the green one finished, and about just under 1/4 of an inch, and then I should have room to fit these ones. I've got a slightly bigger gap, so what I'll do is just trim this down slightly. I'm not too worried about that. If you want it to be absolutely perfect, you could measure your card out and make sure that you've got the appropriate spaces. So again, this one can come just in a fraction, like so. And again, with that last one, we're literally going to pop this one right to the bottom. Now on my original design, this one actually reached the bottom of the card, but I'm not too fussed that I've got a little gap here at the bottom. So we'll just leave that one as it is there. Okay, and then I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm just going to trim these outside pieces off that edge. I'm going to use the card as a guide and just take off all those extra pieces. And again, you can hang on to these if you want to use them for any sort of decoration, like I did inside the card or anything like that. And we've got those little pieces trimmed away. So this is actually going to be the front of my card now. You can see if I bring that original one back in, we've created that rainbow effect in the background. So I will actually stick some pieces together now. We're going to pop those pieces together on the card blank. So again, I'm going to take my tape runner and I'm just going to add some adhesive to the back of that black mat and then center this one inside my card blank, like so. And then I'm also going to take the piece that we've just created, and again I'm going to stay with the tape runner. There's not particularly any heavy embellishments, and the tape runner is strong enough to stand the matting and layering there, and then add this one to the top of that. And as I say, I've just left a little tiny skinny 1/8 of an inch, so that gives me 1/16 of an inch all the way around, just to frame it and lift it off that background card. Okay, so I'm going to bring in the detail now for the top of the card. So what I did was have a look through my stash to see what I wanted to work with, and this is a really old set of dies, really old, but I do love the doily dies. So I've actually chosen this one, which cuts an edge but leaves a solid in the middle. And I've got my little box of tricks again here, or little tub of tricks, and I've cut this in vellum. So you can see just here, I've got that lovely little vellum doily, and I'm going to use this to diffuse the colour just a fraction before we add our topper on here. And then I also brought in the silhouette floral dies from Crafter's Companion and chose Butterfly Meadow, and it's got a beautiful selection of wildflower metal dies in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the just one of them. So I've just chosen one of the flowers, and we're going to cut that one. I'm going to pop that through my Gemini Mini, just bring that into play. And in the sample that I made, I've used a gold satin mirror card, but I'm actually going to do this one in silver just so that you've got the contrast and you can see the difference. It's like some people like both colours, some like the gold, some like the silver. So we're going to go ahead with a silver matte mirror card for this one. So I've just got a scrap out of my stash here, I'm going to bring that die into place. Now there are actually certain areas on my die that will emboss. So when I'm using my Gemini Mini, I'm going to put these in the folder, and I'm just going to add a little card shim to apply a bit more pressure so that I get that beautiful emboss detail on my design. So we'll pass this through the Mini there. And that is all I think I need that one for. And again, just adding that extra shim means that I'm going to get a real good impression with the embossing there. So we take that away. You can see here that I've got the most beautiful piece of embossing on here. You can just see that detail in the flower petals. It's embossed the center of the flowers and looks absolutely gorgeous. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these to position on my vellum layer. So let me just grab a little bit of card. Have I got a spare piece of card? We'll work on the back of here so that you can see what I'm doing better. Okay, and I've actually got mine with some tape on the back. And all I'm going to do is just take those off my carrier sheet and position them roughly where I want them to go. I've put tape on the back of the petals so that I can attach them to the vellum. So we're literally just going to pop these at a slight angle. And the same with the second one. I've cut two of the same flower. You could mix the flowers up if you want. And I'm just going to not quite overlap them, but just position them on there to make my focal points. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hide the rest of my tape underneath those designs there. So if we bring this back over to the front, I'm going to come in with my tape pen, and just behind the flowers there, I am going to pop some adhesive, excuse me, and then we can attach this one to our design. And again, I just want to pop it in that top sort of half of the card there. Give it a good press into place, and then pop a little tiny bit of wet glue under these stems at the bottom here, just so that I can get a nice grip on that inked element. So again, just using a little bit of my tacky glue, take off any excess so that it doesn't all squidge out everywhere, and then just pop those down into place. Okay, right, so as far as decoration, I wanted to keep this fairly sort of not clean and simple. It's not got enough white space to be clean and simple, but a very simple design, so that that rainbow effect was my main focal point on there. So if I bring my little box of goodies back in, I have stamped out a sentiment on just a small tag die, and then I've also cut out my numbers, number 1 and number 6, to make the Sweet 16. So this one has a couple of foam pads on, and again, you know, it's just tag dies from my stash. And because I'm going to pop this onto the ink, I'm just going to add a little bit of that tacky glue on there, just to help that soak into the ink. And we're going to put this across like so. And then any of you that actually know me will have a giggle when I tell you that I've actually remembered to put my double-sided sticky on the back of my numbers. Okay, it's usually a standing joke that I always forget this part, but they are very small. They're just a number set out of my stash, and I thought, right, we'll get the double-sided tape on the back, and it makes it so much easier to get them in place. So again, I've just gone 1 and 6. You could put any number on here, you know, if you've got a, you know, specific birthday or an anniversary or anything like that. You could pop any number. So I'm just going to pop those on like so. And then the last thing, just to add a little bit of detail in the beginning, in the center of those flowers, I've got my flat back pearls, and because I've got the black numbers and the little tiny black border, I am just going to bring in some black centers, and that really made that sort of main image pop. So again, with the tacky glue for my embellishments, a little bit in the center of each of those flowers, and then I'm going to add a couple of larger pearls to the slightly larger flowers, and just the next size down, because these second flowers are just a fraction smaller, and then let that glue dry like so. So we're pretty much there. I've just got the inside to do, which I've already prepared there. And again, this is a piece of 6.5 by 4.5, the smooth cardstock again. I've stamped a greeting from my verse compendium, just a simple happy birthday this time. And then these are just some little scraps that were left over from cutting my panels there in the back. So I'm going to pop that open carefully. I'm going to carry on with my tape runner today, and then just add this inside, and then we're almost finished. So just a quick one today, just to add something to the channel, which is growing very, very quickly. And I do have another video to film to upload at the weekend for you guys. It's my hubby's birthday on Friday, and it's my grandson's birthday on Saturday. So I've actually made my hubby's card, and I've prepared it to film, but I didn't want to post it until after his birthday, just in case, because he's been keeping an eye on what I've been doing. So that one hopefully should be coming to you guys on Saturday. So you can see there we've got that beautiful Sweet 16 image there, and if I bring in the original one, we've got exactly the same design. We've just gone with gold here and silver on this one. So let me know in the comments, which one do you prefer? Do you like the gold embellishment? Do you prefer the silver? Which one do you go to for your choice of embellishment? So yeah, that's it today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for all the support. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Hit that notification bell so that you know next time I'm uploading a video, and I will see you very soon.